G'day folks, welcome to Monday Night Live 79. So just refreshing all the comments here, getting things rocking and rolling. How's everyone's week? I hope your week is amazing. I hope you've all had a great time. Warren's here, Craig's here, Ben's here, David, Melanie, Sharon, Ben, Veronica. Welcome all to the show. We're all here. It's all happening. Hobo's here. Hobo's leaving Wednesday to come up to the Gold Bash. Let me just got to turn these phones off. I always forget to turn the phones off, and they ring halfway through the show, and that sort of sucks. So big show tonight, sluicing. And the reason I brought this show forward a little bit, simply because there's been so much rain in Victoria that I just thought that it's probably probably suitable to do this show. So we're doing a sluicing panning show. I've got our prizes tonight. I've got one of these going to YouTube and one of these going to Facebook. It's a little bushwalker sluice, a little 6-inch gold rat sluice. An amazing little sluices. It takes very low water flow to get them to run. So just an amazing little sluice. And then we've got the pan kits. So we've got a pan kit to go to Facebook and a pan kit to go to the YouTube. So great prizes. There's 4 pans in this bad boy. 4 pans. And it includes the world famous gold trap pan, which I reckon is the best pan going around. The gold trap pan's got the offset bottom. It's not in the centre. See, this bit's wider than that bit. So I reckon that's almost the only pan I use these days. So right, so Bodell's here. Linda, Brian, Nikki from Nikki's Prospecting. Ian, Dan, CQ Detectorists are in the house. Hobo, we've already mentioned. How's Hobo's channel going, I wonder? We should have a look at that. So David and Nadia are here. They're always here. They're like the furniture in this place. David and Nadia, always here. Big shout out to the young guns. I'm really... I've been thinking of the young guns a lot. There's a lot going on up there. So let's just see how Hobo's going here. Hobo's Gold. We'll get a live subscriber count for Hobo's Gold. Where are we at, Hobo? Where are we at? Oh, come on, guys. 9,866. So we need to... I don't know what Hobo's doing there. He's stalled in the 9,800s. So get over there and like Hobo. So we'll start off, though, with a YouTube channel. Why don't we do that? Not that one. This one. Okay. So Gold Luck Victoria. They're always watching, whichever direction that is, up there. Gold Luck Victoria. He's got quite a good channel. I haven't watched stats of his stuff, but I've watched a fair bit of it, sort of thing. And it's a good channel. So yeah, get over there and have a look at Gold Luck Victoria Adventures. And if you haven't subscribed to Hobo, Hobo's always here. So get over there and subscribe to Hobo too. He's only got 130 to go till he gets to 10K. So, and if you don't know what Hobo's channel looks like, I can probably manage that actually. So let's have a look here. YouTube. We'll get it up here. YouTube, and we'll look at Hobo Gold. I should be bringing you across with that. Look at that. See, I can bring you across here. So there's Hobo's Gold. There's Hobo holding a big lump of gold. So make sure you get over and subscribe to Hobo too. So, right. So tonight we've got to talk about the lease. We've got to have a serious discussion about the lease, I'm afraid. It's got to a point where I've got to talk. So, yes, we've got an update on the fires. There's been a lot of fires in New South Wales. I haven't looked at Victoria. Queensland's had some devastating fires there, so hope everyone's safe and sound. I saw some really horrible footage of the back of the Gold Coast there. That just looked like they'd had a firestorm go through there. So I hope everyone's safe and sound. And it's that time of the year. So, Mick Nielsen's been out at the lease, actually. He's had a couple of visits now, got some decent gold. And he's been making these big, heavy picks. So he's talking about here on the Facebook he might knock a couple up to give away. That'd be awesome, Mick. They're a weapon, those picks, that's for sure. So, right, so we're going to talk about sluicing. I've got a little video there that I filmed earlier in the week. I've got a pan earlier in the week, maybe late last week. So I've got a pan of gold there. So we'll do both of those things. Now, let's start off this lease discussion with some little bit of gold porn here. This piece of gold was the biggest piece of gold found on the lease. 3 ounce bit, 90 something grams. So a fantastic piece of gold. Now, it's a tough conversation to have, okay? So I've got to have a Mark's here from Metal Detecting New South Wales. How are you, mate? Craig's here, and Mike and Dan and Brad. So I suspect that no one from this who watches me is doing this. So I'm probably talking to the converted. Out at the lease, so clearly I'm in the shop a lot of the time, and I'm out at the lease a lot of the time. So clearly I've had to put security out there, okay? So I get, on this little thing here, I get a little notification when a camera goes off, because I've got the back-to-base cameras out there. So I know people are going out there. I know 90% of people are just going out there for a look, and that's sort of okay. If you want to come and have a look, just let me know, and come and have a look. Right? By all means, when I'm out there, come and have a look. I'll give you the grand tour, show you about the place. However, there was probably 20 litres of diesel sitting in a tank. I know who you are. I know your number plate. So, you know, that's not on. So, so if you're going out there to do damage, the boys in blue will be knocking on the door. So let's just call that quits. I don't like getting tough on people, but when it starts to affect things, it does happen all over the place, and it happens to everyone. That's why I've got cameras out there, and it's all back to base stuff. So it dings when, well, it mostly dings when there's a kangaroo out there. So there's a few of them out there, but just bear that in mind, okay? And I know just people are just interested. So, and that's sweet. So, right, okay. The other thing, if the person with the diesel is watching this show, just send me a few bucks and we'll just forget about it. So, yes, it is, Matty, it's gated. There's only a blue tape around the boundary, so everyone clearly knows where the boundary is. There's gates there. There's no point putting locks on gates because the blokes will just hit it with the grinder. So so it's, Andrew talks about it's worth having a full-time caretaker. It's not at the moment, but if I need to put someone out there, I will. Might be me. You might never see me again. I might just disappear into the bush sitting on an excavator. So, yes. But anyway, we'll drop that subject because I really don't like talking about it. And I don't think it's anyone here. So, yeah. So, that's all good. Now, the biggest piece of gold is that one. Okay, 3 ounces, 93 or 4 or 5 grams that came off the lease. So, the second biggest piece is this fella here. Now, I'm sitting in front of the scales there. 7.5 gram. It came out last week. Congratulations, George. I don't know whether George here. George is here. So, George got a beautiful pit. 7.5 grams. That's the biggest pit. Almost 7.6. It came out of clay balls. George worked very, very, very hard. Like, even on a gold lease, the gold doesn't come out that easy sort of thing. So you have to work hard for it. But the gold's coming out. That's a beautiful piece of gold. So water worn. And then I'm not sure who this... Oh, this was the boys. The 2 boys that came out, they had a bit of a hearing problem sort of thing. But they got 5.1. There's a nice bit there. That's a 3.5 gram or a 3.4 or something like that. But it's clearly very, very different gold. If we flick back to that, how smooth and rounded, it's very, very different gold. So, right. So, fantastic. Gold's coming out. Everyone tends to find a piece out there unless we've got a problem. So, what machine found them? Okay, so SDCs, 4500s, 5s. I think that big piece with a 5. 7s have been doing well. Gold Monsters, ORXs. AT Max has got a few, actually. What else has got a few? I think that ATX has got a more than a few. I've actually been using the ATX out there a fair bit recently because I can run it with the machine still running, so it's nice and easy to do that. So, yeah, someone's here. Who's that? Daryl could set up a Wi-Fi paint gun. That'd be pretty cool. I was thinking of electrifying everything. But that might be a bit, that might get me in trouble then. Electrify. So, oh yeah, Mick's found a few pieces with a 3500. ORX has definitely got a stack of bits. Tesorio, we haven't seen any Tesorios out there. AT Pro, AT Gold has. I don't know whether anyone's bought an AT Pro out. So, yeah. Oh, Greg here. Give away a set of ZX Gold Pro headphones. Have you... Guys, let's have a look. I've got to go and get them because Greg sort of got me here. Where are they? Just here. So, these are just new into the shop. I'm not even sure they're on the website yet. But, ZX Gold Pro headphones from Greg over at in WA. He knocks them up. They are fantastic. They're good looking set of headphones. I've had a quick run with a pair. Not a big run, but I haven't been out to the lease since they've arrived. So I am going to take a pair out and give them a run, but it comes in a nice little bag. Great. Max has found gold out the lease too, Steve. Don't worry about that. So Goldbug 2 hasn't been out though, Andrew. We're looking for a visit from the Goldbug 2 and obviously AT Pro hasn't been out there. Equinox has been out there, but the ground's very, very mineralised, so I think it struggles a little, but I think the Equinox, I'm sure we got gold with the Equinox. There's been 2 Equinoxes out there, and I think they've both found a piece. Not a lot, but a bit. So ZX Pro headphones. Yes, so absolutely great headphones. We are going to give a set away. Clyde just asked here, what's the deepest piece found? Hard to tell, Clyde, because we're opening ground with the excavator. So when you open the ground with an excavator, it becomes a bit of a challenge to find out what level it came from. However, this is what sort of gets me with people going out to the lease detecting when I'm not there, is that the gold is fairly deep. Like that lease has been detected very, very heavily. So there's sort of not really a point of detecting a lot of it, because we keep the cut pretty clean. But the cut goes down. So what we're doing is we're working up a gully, because we haven't got the trommel out there as yet. We're working up the gully sort of 3 meters at a time, pulling it back across. I don't know whether anyone saw that video. I did a bit of explaining about it all, pulling it back, and the gold's sort of up to 1.5 meters deep there in the cut. So, and there's certainly a very, very rich layer of clay just above that. So, yeah. So, right. Okay. So those headphones are. I saw someone say, what would they suit? They would suit anything with that plug on it, with the, is it 1/4-inch plug? Yeah, let's go with a 1/4-inch plug. So, right. So there was just, patched carcass. The wife has just gone into labour. Got to go, mate. Can I still win the prize? Yes, you can still win the prize. Congratulations, mate. So, Patch Carcass might even live stream the birth. Who knows? So I don't think he will. He's gone already. So good luck, mate. All the best to you. I had the most uncomfortable night on the floor when my wife went into labour. So there was no beds no beds for the husbands when the hospital I was in. So congrats, mates. Congrats, mate. Hope you and you can still win the prize, mate. Don't worry about that. So, right. Okay, let's get on to sluicing. Let's just start with, I wanted to explain to everyone a full run of the sluice, if you like. So, what I've actually done is I've done a full run of the sluice without clean mat, clean everything. The dirt we've got, I use the same dirt over and over again in the sluice, right? And it's mostly the pay dirt, so I open to demo. And what we do is we've cleaned that dirt so that it runs clean, so you can see the cells. Instead of the water all being muddy in the shop, you can actually see what the cells are doing. So I've got clean dirt. So we might just kick that off now, and then we'll come back. And we might even answer some questions. If people have got questions about this video, just put them up in comments. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. And then we'll pan the result off. We'll get that bit out of the road. Pocket sluice. We talk about green mat a little bit in a minute. But sluices start at this sort of size, up to the little 6-inch bushwalker. There's one other one that I'm just out of stock of at the moment, which is, these two are the most popular ones. So the 6-inch and the 6-inch bushwalker, and the Triple H sluice, which is basically a short version of an 8-inch sluice. So really what I want to do is I want to get some pay dirt ready to pan out, and I'll pan that out live on the show. So in a couple of minutes we'll pan that out. But basically what I've got set up here is a recirculating sluice. Now, a recirculating sluice is basically just that. So, pardon me. So if you were to take a sluice like that down to your local creek, running creek, it works exactly the same way as this powered sluice does. Okay, so really this is a powered sluice. We've got Hibankers as well. We've got other gear that handle bigger material. So we'll run this little bit of a Hibanker here, I've got some dirt here ready to go. It's all, so what we've done is we've cleaned this dirt and we keep putting it through so that people can see what's going on within the sluice. And it's very, very important. Like it's good to show people how these dream mat cells work. So dream mat is basically a mat that goes in any sluice. You can just buy the mat by itself. It's just a flexible rubber mat, okay? But it's got these cells in them, and these will show you in the sluice live. These cells work on a circular pressure, and they catch a lot of gold. A normal standard sluice, as you go down the sluice, as you come down the sluice, works on low pressure zones rolling this way down the sluice, okay, and catching it that way. The downside of that technology, like miner's moss, like riffles, like all the other mats, is that the longer you run the sluice, the more the gold will migrate down the mat. With Dream Mat, it actually, instead of going this way, it's actually going this way. So when something gets caught in that riffle, it's very hard for it to migrate because it's not, the material's not moving down, it's actually working from the top down. So that's the advantage of Dream Mat. So we'll kick it off here. Get it here, try not to get too wet. She sprays a bit to start with. We haven't quite got it sorted there, but really we'll throw a bit of this material in. We've got a bit of material just in a bucket here. We'll just throw a bit through, and really it's as simple as that. As soon as that mat, if we can get above it, right, as we tip this material in, as soon as that clears, it clears and you start seeing green, it's ready to go again. So you can put a lot of material through these sluices. You don't need to muck around with them. You can virtually, 2 people could shovel into this, you know, all day. So we'll just stop the sluice there. We'll put a couple more through just quickly, so we make sure we've got a bit of gold in there. This is actually made up from, this dirt is made up from all the demos I do. So when I do a demo on the show, or I do a demo here at the shop, we throw a bit of gold in there to show people, and we open a pay dirt bag. Well, this is all the pay dirt bags that we just kept throwing in. So just get a bit more in there. So we'll rinse that out there. So we'll just wait for that sluice to clear. We'll turn this off here. Right, and what I find best is if you just give it a little surge after you turn it off, it clears these cells up. Now if you look at that mat, right, you've only got material in the circular pockets. You haven't got a lot of other material in there. If we were to let that run for a little bit longer, it would start to clear some of that material out, okay? But you don't need to. So just to give you a bit of an idea, all the gold, like if we look at this, you can see a couple of pieces of gold here. As we come down the mat, okay, we started with a perfectly clean mat. The last bit of gold I can sort of see. So I can see a little bit here, which is about halfway down. I can't see a lot in the bottom half of the sluice. I can't see any there. Let me just clean out one of these pockets here. I can't see anything in that one. Let's have a look here. I can't really spot anything dramatic in that one. So, but if we were to go up the top here and we were to start to clear out one of these, let's clear this fella out. I can see gold pumping out. There's a bit of pyrite floating around there. So if we were just to run that out a little bit, it's probably very hard to see, but you can see the gold popping out as I'm scooping out of this this pocket here. This is probably a better example over here. You can see that it's you can see the pieces of gold sitting in there. So what that's doing, if we just look at that cell there, Nat, the the water is actually catching on this lip and running around here and creating a circular motion inside that cell. And what that's doing is, once that cell fills up, okay, it just continually exchanges light for heavy. Okay, so as a heavy piece of material falls in that cell, a light piece pops out and goes down to the next cell. That's why you don't get that migration down the mat, because it holds the heavies in the bottom so well. When I start seeing gold below the bottom half of the mat, that's when I do a cleanup. So we got phones and everything going off here everywhere, so we're going to ring those people back. I suspect it's Dustin from Gold Rat, actually. He just tried to ring on this phone. So with any of these, to do a cleanup, we're going to do a cleanup, and I'll show you the cleanup, okay? And basically there's a few different systems, okay? This has got a recirculating unit. It's got a header box that's got a clamp built into it, and you just undo them, slide it up, and the mat comes out. These modular sluices work on exactly the same way. You undo the wing nuts, slide that flare up, okay, and the mat slides out, okay. I'll show it on this one here. On the bushwalker, okay, don't forget we've got 2 of these to give away tonight, one for YouTube, one for the Facebook. You basically just undo these 2 wing nuts, right, and the mat will actually just slide out, and put it back in, slide him up, clamp him down, okay. So each of them has got a slightly different way to release the mat. So what we're going to do now, and to get the mat out, okay, this one's got just a wing nut in the centre, for instance. So to get the mat out, what I like to do is just pick up the corner, right, just slide it up to loosen it up, and then with a pan underneath it, ideally. I haven't got a pan there at the moment. Let me grab a pan. I'm so organised here. I'll just come over here and grab a pan. There'll be a pan in here. Of course there's not. So I'll go and get a pan, but basically what we do is I put a pan underneath the bottom of this, okay, and I will tip this mat, I will run this mat upside down through a pan full of water, and it will instantly release the gold. You don't need to bash it, you don't need to do anything. You just run it upside down and it releases all the gold into your pan. So the next shot you'll see is after I go and find a pan, I'll go and put all this in a pan, and you'll see me panning this off, this exact mat off, immediately after this little video. Okay, back to live Ben, I suppose. G'day folks. Thanks for that recorded, Ben. We got there in the end. So there's some questions, okay? We've had some questions. First question is, how do you win on YouTube? Okay, just by making a comment on YouTube, and yeah, absolutely. So bit disorganised there, didn't quite have a gold pan with me, but okay. So there was a stack of questions, and I'll try and get to them all there. So let's talk about water flow. Now, water flow with Dream Mat is completely different to what you'd normally do with Miner's Moss. That's an 8-inch sluice, and it needs a 3,000 gallon per hour pump. That's exactly the right water flow for that sluice. That's what Dustin Gold Rat suggests. So that's what we run with. Once you start going up to the 10-inch, you need like a 4,500 gallon pump. And then the 12-inch will run on a 4,500, but you probably need a little bit more. And we're into the realm of petrol pumps there. So you really need to think about how much material you want to move. Those little 8-inch sluices there will run sort of 700 or 800 kilos an hour. So when you think, oh, I need a 10-inch, I need a 12-inch, well, do you really need that much material going through? Because the downside is you need that much water flow going through. You need a lot of water flow. Now, if your sluice has got Miner's Moss and riffles in it, you can't run that much water. You've got to run it a bit slower. Yeah. So now I've also got a question about what they're made of. Now, Dustin's going to shoot me, okay? That mat's absolute. Can you see I'm holding up a mat? Look. That mat's useless to show. It's the same colour as my green screen. Lucky I bought a blue one. Okay. It's made of some sort of urethane mix. I'm not an expert on that. The stuff's really hard to cut. It's really hard to damage. Don't leave it in the sun and you'll be sweet. Okay. So then let's talk about classification. I have loaded up here. Have I loaded up here? Maybe. Let me see if I can get this picture up. And let me muck it up and zoom in a little bit. And let's get it bigger and bigger and bigger. So, that there is the standard cell design. That's a 12-inch sluice. So that size mat is actually much bigger than the 6-inch mat. The 6-inch mat is actually much smaller cells, much more like the cells in this. They're about half the size, I suppose. This is much easier to hold than the Bushwalker. So the small cells, the mini cells, you need to actually classify the material. The bigger units, you don't need to classify the material, but it is better to classify the material. So these big sluices, you don't need to actually run any classification. I just shovel straight into mine out in the bush and don't classify it. I do use the classification trays. The Ford classification, they're just slotted. It holds the clay back. That's what I use it more for. But yeah, so that's the difference with the size of the cells. Okay, right. Someone also asked how much these were. They're about $20, something like that. I'd have to check on the website. I didn't quite have a chance. So don't forget you can win a 6-inch this thing Bushwalker sluice tonight. One for YouTube, one for the Facebook. Right, and also we got a couple of pan kits to give away. Got a couple of pan kits to give away, a 4-pan kit. So, yeah, so that's what we got to give away tonight. So, to enter on the Facebook, you just need to share this live stream, and to enter on the YouTube, you just need to make a comment. Yes, you can enter in both places, no trouble at all. Okay, so there's the 3 sizes. That's the 8, the 10 and the 12 behind my head there. Kathy, I am in the shop. So this week I'm in the shop Tuesday and Friday. So I've got some training to do for some people out in the bush on Wednesday and Thursday. Narelle, I run an 8-inch recirculating unit, that unit that was in the video there. I use that sluice in the bush. I find that's a good size. I can't shovel more than 800 kilos an hour. That thing more than keeps up with me. Yeah. People use this pocket sluice, absolutely. Like, these pocket sluices aren't a toy, although my young bloke thinks his is. He sets it up in the sink and tries to put the entire sandpit through. Makes his mum super happy, and yes. So yeah. So he just he my young bloke loves that. Obviously, it's similar to panning sluicing. You'll start off with a small sluice and you'll realise I can put more material through than that. And then you upgrade to a bigger and bigger and bigger sluice, and before you know it, you've got an excavator, and you're running a mat that's 750 wide by 1500 long. So, welcome Craig and Cheryl, first time to the YouTube channel. What you will find is someone's asking, do you find the moss and mesh misses much? I think this is much more productive. This style of matting is much more productive than moss and mesh. So the problem with that moss and mesh is that the gold migrates. It might catch in the low pressure zones, but it's doing this action down the sluice, and eventually it will migrate out, and that's how you lose gold. Whereas that top-down flow is what makes the dream mat so good. So now let's talk about angles. Angle of the dangle. So normally you'd start out with 9 degrees. Okay, that's a good starting point. Okay, so but if you're running a lot of material that's clayey, right, or stuck together, and you want to give the material more time on the sluice, instead of running it on that angle, you might lift the angle up a little bit and slow the material going down the sluice. If you're running material that's very, very easy to run, no problems at all, you might run it at 10. You might run it at a steeper angle to clear the material off better, or it's chunky or odd shaped and won't clear the mat. You might have to run that. So 9 degrees is the perfect starting angle. And yes, so Matthew talks about, would you run a bit of moss above the dream mat to help? It doesn't need help. The gold is normally the gold's in the first third. So yeah, I mean miner's moss, like old army blankets we're talking about here on Facebook, still make good sluices. Absolutely, there's a lot of homemade sluices out there that work really, really well. So I'm not knocking those. This is just the flash version that, and it will catch it. It will catch more gold. There's no doubt about that than an army blanket or a moss. The advantage that the army blanket or the moss has is it's a fraction cheaper. This stuff's not cheap. So, but it's very, very good. Bodell, yeah, you can use a bucket to pour it in. Maddie asks, how good is the dream mat to catch fine gold? It catches fine gold very, very well. From all reports, it's the best catching mat on the go round. So yeah, you're not going to lose any gold. Now, the other thing I've got to mention is that, because I've done this, okay, and I've done this on a YouTube channel, and it was just that people pointed it out to me. It was the first time I realised it. It's very easy to run this mat upside down once, particularly when your mates get stuck into it. You really need the smiley faces there upside down there, facing up. Okay, so that's the right way to run it. The water has to catch in those loops. Where's my demo sluice here? The water has to catch in these and run up to the pocket. Okay, it's very hard to see. Where's my pointing stick? Thank you, Lynn. So it has to run up that way. So the pockets have to be at the top. Let me get a bit closer here. So the water will run that way into the pocket. So it's very important to get it the right way up. It'll still catch gold, but just not as much. If you've already got a sluice, you can just buy mats by themselves. You don't have to buy the whole sluice. So, yeah, Lee, Vogus uses it a lot. Vogus is a channel I haven't mentioned, actually, and there was a specific reason that I'm not going to let out just yet, but Vogus has got a great channel. He uses it, and it catches the finest gold. There is no doubt about that. So, yes. Right. We talked about angle. We talked about, I always think the smiley face should face up. That's how I remember it. We talked about, did we talk about water flow? Yes, we did talk about water flow. So a Hibanker. Okay, here's a picture of a Hibanker. For those that don't know, here's a quick introduction to Hibankers. Hibankers are a 2-layered sluice. Very, very similar. to a standard sluice, except it's got this top hopper on it that does all the classifications for you. That spray bar blasts water into the back of that sluice, the hopper box, and helps to wash your clay and gravel and everything to make sure you're getting every skerrick of gold. Then it runs down with water flow through the mesh, and your overside goes out the end, out this way. So it's a very, very good system to use. However, for a recirculating sluice, it does tend to lose a little bit of water off this end, so you can't. That's why I use a recirculating sluice out in the bush, because I can go to dry areas with 40 litres of water and run a lot of material through, where I can't do that with a Hibanker because I lose too much water off the back of the Hibanker. So it was the video was the 8-inch recirc unit I use out in the bush. That's why it was a bit smashed up. So there's lots of baby things happening tonight. Over on Facebook, Big Ted Harrison is late. He's putting his home brew down. So lots of baby things. You look after that stuff like a baby. So lots and lots of baby things happening today. Vargas is awesome. Dream Mat's better. Yeah, Vargas is cool. Yeah, so Blue Dog's tried all the different mats and reckons that Dream Mat works the best. So that's fantastic. Right, so we've talked about all that stuff. Different mats, yes. I'm a bit of an advocate for Dream Mat because I think it's easy to work. Seriously, we've only got. I'll show you in a minute. We'll go and pan this. We'll go and pan that sluice run off momentarily because there should be some good gold in it. But so we'll just set that up now. We'll leave all those logos there. So I'm just going to duck around the corner. Here's a picture of this is the only material that was left in that mat. So after the video, I just emptied that mat upside down through this pan. I didn't shake it. I didn't bang it. I didn't do anything to it. Just ran it through water. Okay. Pardon me. I ran it through the water. Okay. Tipped the bulk of the water off and left it sit on my cupboard over here until I picked it up about an hour ago. So I know there's gold in it. We've seen gold in the sluice, but I don't know how much gold's in it. That's pretty rich, that dirt, by the end of it. So we'll just duck over there and we'll just pan that off there now. So I won't be able to see the comments while I'm panning. So I will come back and review the comments. So just give me a sec here. Righto, we're here. So this is all the material. That's it from a full cleanup. Okay. So that's the beauty of it. Now this material is dried out, so I've got to make sure it's wet, sort of thing. So we just give it a bit of a stir just to clean it up. Now, normally, just as a bit of a panning demonstration, normally you would want to break up any clay that's in it. But this is why we keep this dirt clean, so that you can actually see what's going on. So once all the material is broken down and you've got no clay in the material and it's all loose and it's not sticking to the bottom, clay has a tendency to stick to the bottom of the pan. Basically, it's just a matter of shaking it side to side. What that's doing is stratifying the material. I know this is teaching some of you blokes how to suck eggs. You can pan better than me, but for the newbies, that's stratifying the material. So all the heavy stuff is now sitting right on the bottom of that pan and all the light stuff sitting on top. So as we run across there, we can start running a bit of that dirt off the top. All that's light. We don't have to worry about any of that. There's no gold in that. So
You might see there's a lot of gold flakes sitting around here. I can see one right there. I'm not sure whether you can see it there. That's actually a piece of pyrite. That's not actually a piece of gold. So there's a fair bit of pyrite in this material. So side to side motion again. Just pick him up. Let the light material run off the top. When you're looking at pans, even if you don't buy pans off me, make sure your pans have got a negative riffle. So the riffle actually goes up underneath. It will hold gold dramatically better. So a lot of pans, a lot of the good pans have got that negative riffle. You can buy a Garrett pan, you can buy a Minelab pan, you can buy an East Wing pan, you can buy a Proline pan. They've all got those negative riffles. Steer clear away from those cheap pans on eBay that have just got a lip, like just a ridge. They're very hard to pan with. You're better off with a steel one. So again, side to side here. Let the light material run off the top, sort of thing. When you start to see, if you ever see any gold starting to get up into the top here, there's another bit of pyrite there. There's a lot of pyrite in this. You just bring it back, settle it down, and then start the process again. Wash it off. Like, got a big rock there. That won't have gold in it. Get rid of him. Bring it all back again. Now we're starting to see this black sand come through. Okay, this is all the heavy sitting in the bottom. We'll just get rid of some of these rocks here. So that's everything. So we're starting to see the black sand come through and starting to see the heavies work up the pan. I'll show you that again actually. We'll just see how the heavies, we'll start to see some gold here, but see the heavies are starting to work down. This black sand that's heavy is starting to work its way down. So I wouldn't want to do too much more than that and bring it back. Okay, because the last thing we want to do, and we want to get rid of all that white light sand, just like that. We're starting to lose it, get that black sand over the top. So we'll just keep flicking it along here. I haven't got any rinse aid. If you're doing this panning at home, you put a bit of rinse aid in, it breaks the surface tension on the water, so none of your gold will float. Gold can actually float on the surface. So we'll just run this through here. You can see the gold starting to come through just here. There's a couple of bits in there. Can't see any in these first two riffles there. So we'll just bring them back. And we'll just slowly work our way down. We're just washing little bits off at a time. What I quite often do with these pans is then actually, once I've got it down to that sort of stage and it's making a nuisance of itself, because it's very hard to split the black sand out, is I actually bring it to the other side of the pan. Now what I'm doing here is I'm watching for any gold making its way down the down here. You see there's a bit of pyrite just there. That's pyrite, not gold. But I slowly just work that material down, watching for any gold. So there's a little piece of gold come out there. So I'll just bring it all back, put it in the bottom of the pan here, and then just keep working that through. Over and over again. Not seeing any gold migrating down the pan. There's a lot of black sand in this, and it's quite heavy black sand, so we might not take it all the way down. But that's how you take it all the way down. There's other things you can use, like spiral wheels and blue bowls and miller's tables. They're all for sale. We're trying to get some exciting news happening on those things, but yeah, so we'll work this down here a little bit further just to give you a bit of an idea. See, I'm only taking that water up to this stuff I want to get rid of. I'm not really even taking the water up to the top there. I'm just washing off that stuff I want to get rid of. There's a little bit of gold there, so washing down again there. Washing down, there's a bit of gold starting to migrate. So just to give you guys an idea of what we're dealing with here, there is a fair bit of gold sitting in that pan. So that's as far as we'll take it down. Right, what did I miss on here? So there's a lot of gold in there. So hopefully that, yeah, there's a lot of gold in there. That's probably a bit of an unfair thing. That dirt out there is getting very rich. So it's, yeah,
when you when you open a bag of pay dirt every week, and think, what am I going to do with this? And I throw it back in the sluice. That's when you end up with a lot of gold in that dirt. So, yeah. So, right. So, right. What comments have I missed? Yes, high banking is illegal in a lot of states. It's not in Victoria, I should say. So you do have to check your local laws. I'm not advocating anyone breaks the law. I must admit, it's also illegal in Queensland, but I've actually had conversations with the rangers, not about sluicing, but over a running sluice on the top of the hill using 40 litres of recycled water. So, like, they didn't seem to worry. I'm not. See, the big concern with a lot of that stuff is dirtying the waterways and taking the oxygen out of the air because there's so much silt in the water and it kills all the fish and the shrimps and the stuff. Whereas I think with my thinking is that with a recirculating sluice, you're out of the water course. What's the difference between digging a bucket out and not? So I don't see. So what the difference is. So, but yes. Right. Like certainly as prospectors we are under pressure from from the government which is restricting our access to a lot of hands and what you can do. But yeah, there's one place in Queensland you can bring your Hibanker and run. And if you're in northern New South Wales, there's one place I know of, and that's that Golden Spur mine at up at Warwick there. That's we can run it there. I'm actually going to do a demo, not this week, the following week out there, where we'll run the Hibanker for a while. We're trying to work out a system where I've got a big 3-inch pump up there, so I'm going to pump it up the hill and let it run back as a creek. I think that'll be a bit of fun. So, yeah. So, Lee asked, do I use a bit of detergent to break the surface tension? I have used detergent in the past, Lee. Was it Lee? But I actually now use Rinse Aid. So Rinse Aid breaks the surface tension, but doesn't foam up like detergent does. So, for instance, we had a massive issue at the old shop, when I said to one of the young blokes, I said, just put a tiny bit of washing up detergent in our demo tub, okay? So, away he went, come back and said, yeah, all done, good. I walked back out and I had that exact same setup out there, the 8-inch recirc unit. You couldn't see the 8-inch recirc. There was a pile of foam and it was spilling out across all the stock. It was an absolute disaster. It took us so long to clean up all that bloody detergent and foam. There was foam everywhere and customers were laughing at us. There was, so I don't use detergent anymore. I use Rinse Aid. So that's perfect. So, yeah. Right. Right, I'm just trying to... Where you get Rinse Aid from? It's just So Rinse Aid is the stuff you use in dishwashers to make your gear dry quicker in the dishwasher. So you can just get it from Coles. It's called Rinse Aid. I'm probably promoting a brand that I don't know anything about. So, but yeah. So Rinse Aid is really, really easy to get. It's yeah, it's just thin blue liquid sort of thing. Yeah, it's yeah. So what's that? Hobo, you did some panning in his kitchen sink on Saturday. Well, I've been known to do that, Hobo, and I've also been known to get into trouble when I blocked the sinker, mate. So yeah. Daryl's here. Steve. Oh, there's Jet Dry. Is that another brand? Maybe we should just split the brands, Jet Dry and Rinse-Aid. Oh, yes. Philip mentions here the Rinse-Aids that it took from Nice needs to be replaced. I've also been in trouble for that, knocking off the Rinse-Aid. So they do get... Well, let's not go there. So is Rinse-Aid biodegradable? I don't know. I use it in a dishwasher, but when we're talking about Rinse-Aid and detergent, you're only using a tiny, tiny amount. So I don't know whether it is biodegradable, but yeah, I don't know. Here we go, Andrew Austin for the win. Apparently, Earth's Choice Rinse-Aid is biodegradable. There you go. We got to go. Everyone's got to go and buy Earth's Choice Rinse-Aid. That's what we've got to do. Paul's there. G'day, Paul. It is this. Well, Steve makes a good point. It's all the same, but yeah. Call Rinse-Aid Jet Dry. Yes, no, we've all got to now go and purchase Earth's Choice Rinse-Aid because it's biodegradable and we don't want to muck up the environment. So, right, where are we at? Geez, it's just about knock off time. I had a list of things here. I don't think we got to draw prizes. So tonight, okay, we'll go 5 minutes, five more minutes. So to win on Facebook, you need to share the live stream. I'm going to push the button in exactly 5 minutes. For the YouTube, you have to make a comment. I've got a new comment selector that I'm trying out tonight, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know how it is going to go. I don't even know how it works. I should have actually had a play with it beforehand, but you know what I'm like. We don't like mucking about with these things beforehand. So, Hobo makes a good point. The Rinse-Aid goes on in your dishwasher when you're last thing. So, guess we're eating it all. So, yeah. So, right, okay. So, let's get this video up and we'll get the tool chest running. I've got a new tool chest. How do we do that? Comments, maybe. Show. No, we don't want to do that. I want to go back to that video. So have you blokes, there's people been swearing or something? I've got a heap of comments. A heap of comments been held back. I don't know what's been going on here. Here we go. Pick a winner. That's it. So you've got 2 minutes, 3 minutes now. So yeah. Yes. Daryl works for Earth Choice. It's earth friendly. He works for the company. Good stuff, Daryl. See, we're here promoting the local people, helping out. So, right. So I'm glad people enjoyed the show tonight. Now, big show next week. You're the first to hear about. I'm going to publish it tonight, and I'm going to let everyone know what's doing. Okay, but next week it's the spring edition. We're back to spring. It's the spring the spring edition of what detector I would buy. So the spring edition. So that's next week's. And guess what the prize is going to be? It's going to be a detector of some description. So we're giving away a detector next week. it will. I'm not giving away 2 detectors, one for YouTube and one for Facebook. No, 1 detector across both channels, okay? And we'll have a runners-up prize to go to the opposite channel. Might be a mug or a hat or a what have you. But we are going to give away a detector next week, and 1 lucky punter will have it in time for the World Championships. And if you're mad, if you don't go to the World Championships, it's only 3 or 4 weeks away. So detector next week. Make sure you're on. Righto, we're going to close this off now. I'm dying to try my new YouTube picker thing here. So let's pick the winner. We got 2 winners tonight. 1 wins the pan kit. 1 wins the 6-inch bushwalker sluice. I forgot what we were giving away there. So going first, we have. We will pick a winner. Oh, what? What? Didn't work. Huh. That's not fair. I'll have to go back to the old system. Let me try it one more time. Just one more time. Because it's a live video, it doesn't read the comments. Well, that's just stupid. So, that's just, yes. Oh, Lisa's got a problem. Couldn't go to the championships because Metallica's on. So, Metallica. Right, okay. So, let's do YouTube here. Let's go back to my old, faithful YouTube picker. So, the first winner for the gold pan kit for the win is Smiley Dave. So, Smiley Dave, you have just won yourself a Garrett gold pan kit. Contains all the pans, snuffer bottle, videos, book, little set of useless tweezers, and a little vial. So everything you need to get you going there. Righto. So you have to contact me if you're on the if you're on the YouTube and you win. You have to contact me. And right. So the second prize, which is the sluice, the bushwalker sluice. The second prize goes to Janet Lawrenson. Janet Lawrenson. Lauritzen. Congratulations, Janet. Let's just call it quits there. Janet, congratulations. You got one of these. You need to contact me on the Facebook page or by the telephone down the track. So, congratulations, guys. Great stuff that you've won there. Right, so let's do a back to front on the Facebook. That's what we're talking about here, Facebook. So let's do it back to front. So the winner of tonight's, let me get this up here, of the sluice is Lee Stevens. Lee Stevens, congratulations. Mate, you've won yourself one of these. I will contact you straight after the show. And then, last prize, the pan kit with everything. Even the tweezers that I love so much. So, here we go. Pan kit. Last pan kit for tonight. Well, wouldn't you know it? Blakey Mitchell from Blue Dog Prospecting. Blake, congratulations, mate. The random picker has picked you out of the hat, my friend. So I think Blake's he shared on Facebook and he's over on, I think he's commenting on the YouTube. So Blue Dogs does a good job down there. He's got 1,000 sluices, so some extra pans to help will be good. So George is here. George, we had your nugget up there before. Well done, guys. Righto. So yet again, comes to that time on a Monday night where we're having to say goodbye again. So next week, it's a bit of a sad time this time every Monday night. So next week, giving away a detector. Then I'm going to talk about what machine I would buy. Different budgets. Different types of detecting. Beach detecting. Relic finding. All sorts of stuff. We're going to go through pointers. What I would buy pointer-wise. Yeah. So it's going to be a fantastic show next week. So I will see you all then. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening and a great week. Thanks, guys. Bye.